Okay, today we spent all morning walking around the market, well, all morning, about an hour walking around the market, shopping with the various vendors, some of them new, some of them longtime friends. We love the market for so many reasons. We frequent there multiple times a week, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes just to get a sausage on a hard roll. Today we did both. So with what we got today, we are doing a dish that we've been demoing inside of our restaurant. We picked up some beautiful kampachi from Tom at Kate's Fish. What we love about working with Tom is that we know that everything he brings in is gonna be as fresh as you can get. So we pride ourselves on partnering with local farmers to get the best produce, the best proteins that we can get here locally in Ohio. Well, being in Cleveland, Ohio, other than Lake Erie, we are a landlocked state. So we rely on partners like Tom to make relationships with fishmongers from around the country or fishermen on the East Coast and bring in the best quality seafood that we can get here in Cleveland. So, and Tom does that beautifully. So today he brought in this absolutely gorgeous hamachi that just pristine, to be completely frank. It's so beautiful. It's got this light pink flesh. It's got so much like fat and oiliness to it. It's a really great fish. It was great fish like this that's so perfect and pristine. We don't want to do a whole lot to it. So I thought it would be fun to turn this into a crudo or a carpaccio. So in a sense, what that means is it's going to be a raw fish day. And just really kind of to showcase how good this fish is that Tom brings in to Kate's. So, you know, we almost prefer sometimes to eat it raw. Like, they don't eat everything raw because not everything is meant to be eaten raw. But this particular fish is definitely meant to be eaten raw. A lot of times, something like this is used in sushi, and really to, like, you know, take you away from that idea. Like, you don't just have to eat raw fish at a sushi restaurant. Again, it's a really fun way to celebrate really, really good fish. So I'm just gonna butcher this down a little bit, and we're only gonna use a little bit of this fish for this purpose. So if you go to the market and you go to ask Tom, hey, can I get some kampachi? You don't need to get all of this. We will use this in the restaurant. But, you know, ask for either a fillet or ask for, I don't know, a couple ounces of it, and I know who will be more than accommodating. So this came on, it was whole. Tom butchered it for us, took off the rib cage, took off the head, which we have downstairs in the cooler. We'll use that for somebody special this evening. And then today, we're just gonna take off the skin. And really, for this purpose, we're gonna use just a little bit of this. All right, yeah, look at that, gorgeous. So oily, it's like shines, it's so oily, it's so nice. Okay, this is probably roughly 3.5 ounces of fish here. Again, what I love about this, it's fatty, it's pliable, it's got so much just great like omega-3 fishiness to it. You know, you get a toothiness, but without it being chewy, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but you'll understand once you eat it. But it just has so much great flavor to it. All right, and like I said, we're gonna make this into a carpaccio.
No, not use it.
Really darn flat. And the way that we do that, we're gonna layer it in between a couple pieces of saran wrap, so it's got enough space to move around, but also stick together a little bit. Doesn't make our board too messy. Doesn't break. And we're gonna use this, so it's what we call a burger smasher. It's a 3.5 pound weight that smashes probably 40 to 60 burgers every day. And today we're gonna smash fish because why not? It makes sense. All right. I'm not gonna go too heavy on this as far as how much weight I'm pressing down. You can see already that just with a couple pounds, it's really starting to get nice and flat. And I like to kind of rotate, go back and forth. And then just kind of keep, your fish will start to spread out. I'll kind of push it back into place as I'm pounding down. And then just making sure that it's getting evenly. And you can use anything to pound it out. I've used hammers in my garage before. I don't recommend that. It's not as easy, but you never know. You can use the back of skillets, pots, different things. Anything that's really got a little bit of heft to it. I like something that's evenly round and large because I can pound out more at once. And basically that helps me to get it more even. All right, almost there. The other cool thing about this too is that you can buy a side of this kampachi from town. You can cut it down into small pieces and freeze it individually. And what freezing it actually does is tenderizes the flesh. And then when you pull it out, if you want to do a carpaccio again, it pounds out really easy. So it breaks down that muscle tissue and allows it just to like kind of lay out real flat. And you don't lose any of the flavor, but the natural freezing of it just naturally tenderizes it. All right. So now we started off with that, like I said, 3.5 ounce cube of fish. And now we have almost this, as big as my face, size of pounded out carpaccio. All right, I'm gonna set this off the side in a little bit of ice well so it stays nice and cold. Keep it in that saran wrap. And now we are gonna make an Esme style salad. And I say style of a salad. Esme is typically like a Middle Eastern or Turkish salsa. Think of your, tomatoes and peppers and onions and parsley and season. Well, we're not quite in the tomato season yet. We're just getting into pepper season, but we do have a buttload of our Ohio berries. So we thought, why not experiment and make an Ohio berry style Esme salad? So we got some beautiful cherries. We got some blueberries. We just got in these absolutely gorgeous candy onions. Probably one of my favorite onions, especially onions that you can get here in Ohio. It's really like the perfect onion. It's like it's a sweet onion, so it still has a little bit of that spice, that bite to it that normal allium family does, but finishes almost like it's been dipped in sugar. So it's a beautiful thing. Some fresh garlic. We got a little bit of parsley, and then for good measure, we're gonna add in some Fresno chilies, a little bit of red pepper, lemon juice, herbs, and some seasons. Okay. All right. First thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna start cutting down our cherries. Now, if you have a cherry pitter, I highly recommend using it. I do not have a cherry pitter, so I'm just gonna smash some cherries to the side of my knife, pull out the pits. Everything is gonna get macerated down on this cutting board. Everything is gonna get macerated down on this cutting board, so. All right, so what do we have here? About 7 cherries. It took me a minute to count those cherries. So I cook, I don't necessarily count well. All right. Okay, so now we just smash them in the back. We're just taking out these pits. If you're not looking to get a perfect cherry, you don't need a cherry pitter. This works just as good. Okay. And I'm gonna really leave all this stuff on this board as I start to gather all the ingredients. The idea is that, all these things kind of get chopped up all together, and it will season a little bit on this board as well. All right, this is a Fresno chili. Mildly spicy. I mean, I guess depends on your level of heat. I think they're mildly spicy. I would say that my partner thinks they're spicy for sure. But we all have our different levels of what we think is spicy. So start off small. You can always add in if you want more. You can't necessarily take away. All right, now this is really, really fresh garlic. The stalks haven't even really been dried yet. So this is gonna be a little bit more mild, which is what we want here. If we don't want it to overpower, so we're just gonna do a couple of these fresh cloves. Cool. So that guy. All right, now we're gonna take some of this parsley, cut this off. That should be good. Again, when you're making something like this, think it's just like salsa. You're really just kind of, mixing everything together. You want it harmonious. You're gonna mount it with some type of olive oil to finish it, to really bring it all together. But the idea with this is that it's not, there's no, I'm not weighing anything out. Normally everything we do here is done in grams. I think anytime you're doing something fresh like this, we call it taking it to church. You just kind of get all your ingredients together, you put it all down, you mix it up, you taste, and that's the biggest thing. If you like it and it tastes good to you, that means it's probably pretty good. Or other people might like it as well. But the idea is that it's, it's fun, it's easy, it's interactive. You don't need to, worry about following too much of a recipe, because they're all gonna be a little bit different, and all the recipes are all gonna be determined upon how you like to eat and what tastes good to you. All right, I'm actually gonna cut this pepper down a little bit just so it's easier to cut later. All right, next we're gonna get this. The other thing I love about shopping in the market is that we literally bought one onion. You doesn't often able to do that in a grocery store. You go to the grocery store and they have something on sale for $5 for a bag of potatoes, and you're like, oh man, $5 for a bag of, 10-pound bag of potatoes, that's a great deal. And then in a week you have 4.5 pounds of not very good potatoes. So instead of, spending $5 on a whole bag of potatoes that I'm never gonna use, I get to spend a dollar or two and get 1 or 2 potatoes that I know I will use. So that's, the other thing that's great about going to the market is being able to obviously see the vendors, and talk to them eye to eye and be able to talk about the produce or the fish or the proteins, where they got it, and make that connection. You're not just, buying from an aisle in a grocery store, but, you're able to buy smaller quantities, which just, I find that it's cathartic and, it's nice to connect with your ingredients in that way. All right. The other thing about this too is it depends. Everybody likes their, these salsa style salads a little bit different. My wife loves salsa. She hates chunks. We're just gonna keep chopping this up, folding it onto each other, really harmoniously pulling it in. Might add some more fruit here too. Kind of mash it on down there, open up all those flavors. like I said, I'm just gonna keep this down on this cutting board, kind of layer it out a little bit because we still need to season. In order to do that, you know, you kind of want to spread it out so it all gets nice and evenly seasoned here. Look at that. Kind of looks like 4th of July, you know? Right around the corner. Okay. First things first, as far as season goes, salt. Salt is not a spice. Salt brings out flavor. Okay, so be generous with salt. Don't be scared of salt. Obviously, everything in overabundance is bad for you. But as far as salt goes, don't think about it as a season. Think about it as something that enhances the flavor of your ingredients. So I'm gonna take a good, generous 3-finger pinch, a little bit more of this Maldon sea salt. Just gonna kind of let it sit over top right now while I go gather a couple more ingredients. And for good measure, I got a little bit of pimenton de Espelette, which is more mild of a sweet pepper, real bright, a little fruity. And then I'm gonna hit it all with a little bit of telecherry peppercorns. Okay. Take my knife, chop it, all kind of mix it in again. Grab spoon. Hit a little bit of olive oil. Just to kind of bring it on home. All right, at this point in time, with any type of cooking, check for season. You know, I can't say that enough. As you're cooking, as you're going, as you're seasoning, you're always checking for seasoning, you're tasting. And more often than not, you're probably re-seasoning. Tasting it, I realized I have a whole lemon up here that I didn't even use because there's no acid. So now we're gonna put in some acid. Cut off the little corners of the lemons. We call these lemon cheeks or lemon squeezies, mostly because it sounds cute, but also because they're applicable because it squeezes and it kind of looks like a cheek. All right. Kind of mix all that in together. It's another condiment that you can use on pretty much anything. Again, it's just a fruit salsa in a sense. A little more sea salt. Maybe just a little more lemon. All right. Cool. All right, the only thing I think now, maybe a little bit of sweetness. We're gonna take a little bit of date syrup. Drizzle that all in. Bring out the sweetness of the cherries and the blueberries. Accentuate those Ohio candy onions. Okay. All right, let's see. Perfect. All right. we've got our salsa, our esme. I'm gonna grab a little plate over here, and we're gonna kind of finish the dish. And again, the idea of this is that it's bright, it's fresh. You know, we're in the midst of summertime here in Ohio. We have beautiful berries. We have some beautiful fresh fish. We don't want to do a whole lot to this. We want to celebrate these ingredients. And I'm just gonna kind of put these in here together. Just kind of dress them all up. Just enough. All right. Maybe this is a little more salt. For good measure. Okay, now our fish. Okay. This is the easy part. Lay this right over top. Get that off.
This is true.
Make sure it's all in our bowl here. And to season this, this is just a little bit of tamari, which is a gluten-free soy sauce, and it's a little bit of black vinegar that's been mixed together. I'm gonna brush this right on top. It's so light, just enough to bring out the flavor of the fish and give it a little bit of acidulation and salinity to it. That's it, just enough. You don't want to brown it, you want just enough to coat evenly. Finish with a more olive oil, generous amount of olive oil, and a little bit of sea salt. And that's all she wrote. It's a beautiful way to celebrate fresh Ohio produce, fresh Ohio fruits. I mean, the kampachi that we are bringing in from Tom is just absolutely gorgeous. There's no point in doing anything more other than something that's just so simple and so refreshing, especially in the high heat of Ohio summers. Thank you so much.